Do 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 do. Hey, how's it going? It's Nancy Gamon. Discarded upholstery sample books can be so much fun to look through, but sometimes it's hard to know what to do with all those pretty little pieces of fabric. In this video, I'll share one idea and show how to make a simple zippered pouch. Since the pouch is unlined, this project works best with pretty woven fabric that's nice on both sides. You can make the pouch out of any size drapery remnant as long as it's large enough to fold in half, and that will give you an idea of the basic finished size, although it will be a little smaller in both directions. So in addition to a upholstery remnant, you'll also need a zipper that's at least as long as the opening for the pouch. A little longer is fine. Oftentimes these upholstery samples have some paper edging to the back, and as long as it's flexible and you can fold it and your sewing machine will go through it, it's fine just to leave that on there and sew it right into your pouch. If your sewing machine doesn't have quite so much oomph to it, you might go ahead and trim off the paper, and it will make lovely little bookmarks. So to get started, the first thing I'm going to do is to fold down a 1/2 inch along the edges that will form the pouch opening. And I'll press that good with an iron, and then I'll open up the zipper and align the edges with the edge of the fabric, leaving a little bit of space. So you want the opening of the zipper to poke out a little bit so that the foot will slide up and down easily. And then I'll go to the sewing machine and just stitch real close along the edge here, all the way down to the end of the fabric. And then once I reach the end and the whole side of this zipper is sewn on, then I will do the same thing with the other edge of the opening. So I'll press this side down a 1/2 inch as well. Again, align the edges and stitch all the way down this side too. So once I've done that, it looks like this. And you just want to make sure before you go any further that your zipper will smoothly open and close so that there's plenty of room on each side of the opening. Then the thing to do is to decide where you want to have the zipper placement. So the pouch can open along the top. You could have the zipper be right in the center, or you can have it offset a little bit from the top, which is how I like to do it. The next step is just to sew about 1/4 inch from each side. It's okay to have the zipper either closed or partially open, but if you have it all the way open, when you stitch, you'll lock this part out of your pouch. So make sure that it's at least part way in before you sew the edges. And that looks like this. So each edge is stitched here, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim these corners a little bit so that they'll turn easily. So I'm going to be careful not to catch the stitching there. I'm going to go about 1/8 inch out and just kind of trim these at an angle, and that will make the sides easier to turn, less bulky. And I'm just going to trim off the end of this zipper there since that part's not needed. Then with the zipper open a little bit, I'm going to turn it inside out, and I'm going to use kind of a dull rounded pencil to really poke out the corners as much as I can. So I'm going to put this in and use it just to get those corners nice and perpendicular. If they won't go all the way, that's okay, but I'll get them out as far as I can and do that on the other side as well. And then once those are all turned out, I'll get this edge lined up nicely and go back to the sewing machine. So last time I sewed about 1/4 of an inch, so I'm going to go a little further in, and this will catch the raw edges of that seam inside of the new stitching. This is called a French seam. So what that looks like is this, and that really completes the project. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn this pouch right side out again, poking out the corners here as I go. And there's the completed pouch. If you'd like to experiment together, head on over to my website at nancygamon.com, where you can check out the current list of workshops.